semi-final here. In the top right-hand side, we're going to start things off with our red Protoss player. This is ShoWTimE. Taking on, in the bottom left-hand side, the blue Terran player, Team Liquid's Clem. And we'll see what happens. A little bit of TvP, the new maps, the new balance, etc. Yeah, TvP, I feel like, from what I've seen of TvP, it's still a fun matchup, very back and forth, very, you know, lots of interesting things you can do. For sure. It's been very fun to keep track of this matchup as it's been improving and changing and all the rest of it. So let's get into this here. See what we can do. As we kick this one off game. Number one. Already have the probe coming over to the other side, trying to see a little bit of what's going on. That's interesting. Indy just left, and I was using Indy's. I just locked myself onto Indy's camera, so I'll give you a second, guys. I'm gonna do a cheeky little webcam grab. Let's do a ZG cam. Or steadfast cam. Either or. I was just locked onto the camera of steadfast of Indy. I was like, oh yeah, this will do. And Indy's camera is just like, Indy's left the game. It's like, no, not like this. Surely not. Alright, all good, guys. Worst case, we can also, you know, observe ourselves just all the time. It's just easier if someone has already done the observing to just not observe yourself, you know, because then you can focus on what's going on in the game. It's been something that I've definitely learned over the last year or so. It's been really good to be able to do that. Been a big fan of it. It's going to be seen a little proxy to start us off. ShoWTimE going to be the aggressor to really get things underway, which I think is very fun, obviously. ShoWTimE is obviously not always known for being aggressive or anything, so when he gets aggressive, it's always, like I say, a little bit different. You're not quite expecting it, maybe, straight away. So, yeah. Kind of like the decision. He's going to just get that Stargate going on that side of the map, then, and try and do something with this. Nothing really too surprised, not crazy at the end of the day, right? Just, yeah, mixing it up, doing things a little bit differently. I think there's always a good argument for mixing things up, especially when you're playing someone like Clem, who, you know, sometimes can get caught a little bit by that kind of, you know, initial pressure and everything, and if you can just get some damage going early, you can actually do very well against him. So throw Clem off of his build, because Clem likes to be disruptive himself, so if you don't give him the chance to be disruptive, then you can generally do very well for yourself. And I think that's kind of an important part to note here. I think that's going to be a big thing. So yeah, I guess we'll see. Let's just see this Reaper hopping up. Not really going to do too much immediately. Starting to press forward. And the Oracle just waiting on the side. Maybe a Phoenix to follow this up as well. So that's going to be our initial plan here. CV's in some trouble. 3 workers going down, so ShoWTimE does find some initial pretty decent damage. Gets a 4th worker there as well. The Marines do come through. The Oracle does take just a few more shots. So far, so good. Just gonna see the Oracle then still kind of hanging around, seeing if it can get up to anything exciting for the next few moments. I'd say not really, right? Just gonna chill around. A couple of Phoenix get rid of a Viking. That's actually very fun, though. Obviously, you know, you want these kind of Vikings and stuff up if you're playing against a Stargate player, because they're just gonna help you against the Stargate stuff. So if the Stargate stuff overwhelms and you can kind of shut that down early, that's actually very good for you as the Protoss player, because that just means less for you to worry about, less for the Terran to work with defensively, obviously, again, that's just naturally going to be very good for you then in that scenario, right? So, yeah, that's a good little catch immediately from ShoWTimE. I'm sure he'll be pretty content with that. Let's see, Phoenix trying to break into the main base for just a couple of moments, trying to see what they can do. Going through over here, going to grab a Marine. Just going to knock that down pretty quickly as well. And just the Oracle still looking for its next opportunity to perhaps make something happen. His next little while. If SCVs do end up going down, then it's going to be seeing the Oracle still lurking, still waiting for an opportunity, still waiting for a chance. Possibly make a bit of a difference here. Phoenix obviously will try their best to keep the damage going, and to be fair, the other game's been great. Look at this, not a single unit lost for ShoWTimE. He just killed the Hellion here as well. So 10 SCVs, Hellion, Viking, Reaper, Marine. Great start. I mean, the efficiency is off the charts early in this game. Looking very good if you're ShoWTimE and a Protoss fan. Not so hot if you are Clem. Pretty much. Similar's coming through. Colossus coming up, +1 attack and charge continuing in. Phoenix just go back along to the left. And the +1 attack upgrade, just Chrono boosting along on the Forge. And we've got our Phoenix coming through and looking to try and get some damage done. The more SCVs they get rid of, the tougher getting back into this game is going to be for Clem, right? So, really just trying to make this as difficult as possible. Cyclone gets a little lock on as well. Over the left-hand side, the few Phoenix will be trying to see what they can do. Next few moments, and again, just keeping themselves in very much so a great position. Just keeping everything moving along nicely for now. Here we go. Just going to be seeing this Bioforce. Would love to get across the map, right? This is the kind of point where usually you see this get across the map and damage being done, etc. But not sure if we're going to be given the opportunity here this time. It's going to be seeing our Robo Bay getting up and running. That extended thermal lance is being brought into action, so getting that up straight away here. Phoenix just waiting, and again, they just have so much control on this game right now is kind of the issue that you're facing. It's going to be seeing how Bio gets there. I mean, the Widow Mine's nice to soften them up a little bit, but how much do we really achieve from all this? Again, extended thermal lance, etc. All coming through. Just going to continue through with everything for a few moments as we get all set up. All nice and easy. And we continue to bring everything along. Big push from ShoWTimE. I mean, he knows he's in a good position as well, right? So he's very aware that this is, in theory, just going to be very good for him from the very beginning. He doesn't need to really worry about too much because he's just been in a great position from the very start. And again, he very much so seems to know that. So I have to imagine that's going to be something we keep note of. Here we go, this attack ready to go. Honestly, ShoWTimE's just ready to fight. He is so aware that this is going to be good for him. And here we go. I mean, one tank's not going to do much. That's pretty much all the, well, splash damage that we have to work with. That really isn't going to cut it, guys. To be completely honest with you. And this is just going to be ShoWTimE. Absolutely advancing through. Plain, easy. No issue at all. Yeah, a couple Colossi get low, don't get me wrong. I mean, maybe not no issue at all, right? ShoWTimE does lose out on, well, now both of his Colossi and a lot of his tech in general, but I mean, at the end of the day, I don't feel like Clem's going to be able to rebuild like ShoWTimE can, and ShoWTimE still probably has some SCVs he can get rid of here, for example, so it's going to be putting in as much pressure as possible. Just going to be seeing the Disruptor Shot, going to try and hit reinforcements, gets a bunch of the Vikings, which obviously have maybe seen better, you know, uses for themselves. Obviously, this is just going to be a pretty big W, though, in general, so That works up quite nicely. And that is going to be ShoWTimE picking up game number 1 of this. Plain and simple, like I said. I mean, really got ahead early, traded extremely well. And from trading very well, just putting them into great position. ShoWTimE with a 1-0 lead over Clem in this semi-final. Up 1 game. In the bottom left-hand corner will be the red Protoss player. This is ShoWTimE. Taking on in the upper right, the blue Terran, Clem. So, map number 2, Ancient Cistern. Definitely turns out to be a pretty standard map, I think, most of the time here. I don't think that's really up for too much discussion. Again, just lots of base. I feel like, honestly, if these maps didn't have as many bases, you'd probably just have some very, like a very standard set of maps here. It's the fact that they have those extra base, these extra bases and just more bases than usual on repeat. That really is going to be kind of one of the big talking points more than anything else. It's going to be interesting as we have our probe scouting up to the top, check in to see just what is going on. Going to go nibbling against an SCV initially. So far, so good. A couple of SCVs just going to go nibbling the probe for a few moments, so it's working on that. And just going to be seeing the CC going down as well, so just working on that. So far, so good across the board. Everything kind of as you'd sort of expected to be. It's going to be seeing our simulator finishing up here. Just going to be seeing the SCV coming back over again. Obviously, just happy to see that this is indeed an expansion. Sees that it's not double gas early, but it is going to be a second gas take, which is again just absolutely normal and expected and everything. So, yeah, really nothing too wild across the board when you think of it like that. I'm just going to pop out, going to try and go after this little Reaper. Obviously, Reaper will continue the scouting here for Clem, try and make sure you can get some little bits of information. Let's see if he could have spotted that this was a Stargate. That would have been amazing. Obviously, Clem has not been deep enough into this base at all to do that, though. So for the moment, that's not going to happen. But, you know, he could still maybe hope to kind of pick that information up at some point. So, still a possibility. Tech Lab comes up, Starport coming in. I'm just going to be having this Adept too. Just getting back home, playing defensive, not going to go overboard or anything. Just going to be pretty chill over here. We do have our Phoenix Adept and everything. We'll continue up as well. So all of that's setting up now. Just going to be seeing a couple of Hellions making their way out. Back onto the map a little. Just going to be having our racks ready to swap onto the reactor as well. So just continuing through with this. In the next couple moments, going to have ourselves the Hellions. Still just sat around, obviously not able to get across the map aggressively or anything, which is one of the things that Clem absolutely loves to do, so that will absolutely be a bit of a shame in his eyes. Going to be seeing our CC building in the main base. Is going to go to 3 bases pretty quickly, right? It's not going to be super aggressive off 2 bases. We're not going to be looking to push too much. There's going to be a much more kind of macro-focused kind of appeal for the moment. Let's see a couple of Hellions trying to get to the front there. Depths are there to push the Hellions back. Let's see our starport lifting off, moving off to Tech Lab. And we've seen our racks moving back over. Obviously, we get all these upgrades up and rolling for the moment. Big part of this is we do have our robot facility about to finish. The extra gates coming online, the charge upgrade. Pretty decent for the moment. Let's get progress made on all of this for now as our Phoenix wanders around to the upper left-hand side. Stim, combat shield +1, all of that continues through. Just for the moment. Obviously last game we saw so much bullying being done, I would say, initially by the Phoenix and everything, right? And yeah, I feel like an issue again, so much bullying done, but that's obviously not really the case now. It's been a much more passive game as Oracle sets up a few more stasis wards and we just sit and wait a little bit. And we having a little bit of a revelation dropping. Because, yo, thank you so much, Fruit Seller 24. Coming in with the 300 bits, much appreciated, as we have a couple of Zealots do get in and aiming for some of these SCVs, so trying to get some of that damage done already. And doing pretty okay with it. It's going to be seen that Bioforce will relocate over to the left-hand side, go into the top, trying to get over to the edge there and maybe hide away just ever so slightly. Gonna see a couple of Hellions. Gonna try and get some probes killed off here if you can succeed in that. That could obviously be very good for you. 3 workers going down for the moment. Just gonna be seeing our Colossus, Adepts, and Sentries all together, moving back around and seeing what mayhaps be done. There's Academy coming up. Starport's on the way. So all of this is coming through for the next couple of moments here. Just going to be seeing a couple of Zealots. Actually do get hit by a mine, obviously that's going to be important for Clem. Still trying to provide defense against this as best as possible, right? So just trying to do that as much as we can. As we do have a little bit of bio coming across and chasing those few Zealots just out the way as well. Getting them pushed back over the other side. What was the Dark Hero score? Hero 3-2. Was what we were watching a little bit earlier on. As Clem, 160 to 140 supply. Actually, a supply block from ShoWTimE. A pretty hefty one as well. No pylon on the way still. It's got a Nexus finishing soon, which I imagine might be the next thing that gives him supply. He still didn't build a pylon, so he's investing into a lot of tech. But obviously, if you miss warp-in cycles, that can absolutely be problematic. So it's definitely not advised to be going about it the way we're maybe going about it right now. Definitely not ideal. It's going to be seeing ShoWTimE coming over here and just going to be, again, was moving forward a little bit. This map's pretty large, isn't it? I kind of forget how big this map is sometimes, I feel like. To me, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a pretty standard map, and I'm like, man, it actually takes a long time to get across on this one, right? Like, it truly is sizable. You know, it is a huge map, that is for sure, and that's definitely going to be a factor here as we go through this. Vikings and everything making their way across. It's going to be seeing the Bioforce Going through. I'm just going to be seeing the army trying to advance on in. So Clem finally gets a crossover here, but can't really find a way in, which honestly I can't say is too surprising. Would have been kind of shocking if he was just able to wander straight in there and find success, right? That would have been kind of a little bit wild. So yeah, not too surprised to see that that was not in fact the case at the end of the day. Shock horror. It's going to be seeing our little bit of bio then, opening up some of these rocks, so making some of these attack pathways a little bit easier to work with, obviously, I think is generally going to be a good thing to do, and it's exactly what we are doing for the moment, so making some progress there. Disruptor shots would love to get some juicy connections. That's exactly what we're trying to do as well, so something to watch for in that regard. Going to be seeing our couple of DTs starting to move onto the map, so that's going to be opportunity for ShoWTimE to obviously find some damage, right? You know that ShoWTimE is going to be absolutely loving the opportunity to maybe get something done there, so absolutely watching out for that over these next couple of moments. The disruptor shot will fall just a little bit short, but obviously not complaining too much, so I feel like that's been in a pretty reasonable place. I mean, it does a good job of zoning us there. Oh, the DT showing up. They're going to get in for the missile turret. They're going to get in for a lot of these SCVs, so damage will be done. The DTs do finally get pushed back. They actually didn't get as much done as I thought they would, if I'm going to be honest with you. I thought they were going to find a little bit more damage here, but not quite the case, so I admit that that was not quite how I expected it to go, but, well, let's see. Long way from being done just yet. I mean, counterattack from ShoWTimE. He now moves across the map. Vikings going to get a great start of this. Nothing to stop them going after the Colossi. So those are free pickings for the Vikings. They should be very happy with this. Just going to be seeing the Vikings starting to land another disruptor shot coming through. So all of that starts up, and it's going to be seeing the GTs at the same time over on the right side, actually going to do a lot of damage. Getting rid of the planetary almost immediately. Just so many DTs, and Clem going to struggle to keep up with that. That's definitely going to become an issue for him. So that is becoming a pretty major issue here at the moment. So yes, some problems are absolutely being had right now. And his DTs are all over the bases of Clem. He's only going to have 50 SCVs, which almost makes his next attack. Well, he needs to start stomping this army of ShoWTimE. His economy is okay if he takes very good trades, which is plausible because his army supply is that much larger. So it is doable, actually. I don't hate it as much as you maybe think I would. It feels better than it maybe is even, because that army supply feels hopeful. Because one thing ShoWTimE can do is maybe just keep Clem busy, and obviously DTs are obviously very good at kind of negating the fact that you've got an army supply lead as well. So, and disruptors too, right? So maybe then Clem doesn't find the opportunity to make use of that, but it kind of gave me a little bit of hope at least, but maybe it was indeed misplaced, because right now it looks as though Clem is getting pushed back, unable to really succeed over here for the moment. Not able to do enough at all. Just going to be seeing the Vikings dropping, and don't get me wrong, ShoWTimE loses a little bit in this fight, but he's losing a little bit while Clem is losing a lot, and Clem's losing the economy and the base around this as well, I think, is one of the big things too. I think that's definitely got to be one of the big notes to be made here. So the shots continue to fire. Clem really is just chasing forward, hoping he can find something or anything here. Honestly, so far it's not really been the case. And at the end of the day, that's actually just going to be GG's. Going to tap out, and ShoWTimE's going to take a 2-0 just like that. And that, my friends, is going to do it for this best of 3 ShoWTimE 2-0 victory. A game that was really